Hey everyone, welcome back to UPC Tech Hub. I'm Uditha, and before we jump into today's topic, I just want to share what this channel is all about. I've been working in the tech industry for over 7 years, and through this channel, I love sharing everything I've learned, from real-world projects to new tech trends. My goal is to help you learn, build, and create amazing things that can truly make an impact in the world. That's exactly what this channel stands for. Learning, creating, and pushing the world forward with technology. All right, let's get started. In this video, I'm going to break down the main features of React 19 that every developer should know. To make things super easy to understand, I've grouped them into 3 main categories: performance and architecture, new hooks and APIs, developer experience improvements. And in today's video, we're going to focus on the first one: performance and architecture. React 19 makes our apps faster, cleaner, and smarter. There are 5 big improvements we'll look at: React compiler, concurrent rendering, context performance, suspense enhancements, and streaming server components. Let's go one by one. All right, let's start with the first feature: React compiler. This is a brand new system in React 19 that automatically optimizes your components for better performance. In older versions of React, we always had to use things like useMemo or USSR to prevent unnecessary re-renders. You know, that extra bit of code we always had to add just to make things faster. But now, React compiler takes care of all that automatically. You can write simple, clean code, and React will handle the optimization behind the scenes. Basically, the compiler is smart enough to understand when your values actually change, so it only re-renders what's necessary. And the best part? Cleaner code. No more manual optimization. Better performance, automatically. So yeah, React compiler is a big step forward. It helps us write less code and still get faster apps. Next, let's talk about concurrent rendering improvements in React 19. Now, this one's all about making your app feel smoother and more responsive, even when it's doing heavy work behind the scenes. In simple terms, React 19 can now pause, resume, or even cancel rendering tasks when needed. That means your UI doesn't freeze. Users can still type, scroll, and interact while React finishes background updates. Let's take an example. Imagine you have a search input where you show results as the user types. In older React versions, when you typed fast, your app could lag a little, because React was busy re-rendering everything. Now, with concurrent rendering, React can prioritize what's important, like the user typing, and delay less important work, such as updating the results list. Here's a simple code example. Normally, typing triggers re-renders right away, but when we wrap it inside Start Transition, React knows this update is non-urgent, so it keeps the typing smooth and updates the UI in the background. The result? A much smoother, faster, and more responsive experience, even in complex UIs. Next up is better context performance. So, you know the Context API in React. It lets us share data across components without passing props everywhere. In older React versions, when a context value changed, all components using that context could re-render, even if most of them didn't actually need the updated value. That could make your app slower, especially if you have big dashboards or complex UIs. But React 19 improves this. Now, it only re-renders the components that actually depend on the changed context value. That's a big win for performance. Here's an example. In older React, when you changed the theme, header and sidebar would both re-render. But in React 19, only header re-renders, because sidebar doesn't use the theme. Less unnecessary re-rendering, faster updates in big apps, smarter performance, automatically. It's a small change under the hood, but it makes a huge difference in real-world apps. Next, let's talk about suspense and error recovery, one of my favorite improvements in React 19. Suspense lets you pause rendering while data is loading and show a fallback UI like a loading spinner. React 19 makes this even better. If something goes wrong while loading, it recovers faster without crashing the whole app. Here's a simple example. If TechieEF is still fetching data, React shows loading user data automatically. And if the fetch fails, React 19 can recover smoothly, retrying or letting other parts of the UI continue working. This means your app feels more stable and less frustrating for users. No more blank screens or crashes when data fails to load. Smooth loading, faster error recovery, better UX for async apps. Finally, let's look at streaming server components. This is especially useful if you're using Next.js or Remix. In React 19, server components can stream HTML to the browser in chunks, so users start seeing content immediately, even if the rest of the page is still loading. Here's a simple way to imagine it. Old React. The page waits until everything is ready, then renders all at once. React 19. The header and main content show instantly, and other parts load in the background. Example in concept. The header and main content can render before the footer finishes loading data. The result? Users see something on the screen faster, improving performance and user experience, especially on slow networks. Faster initial page load. Better time to first paint. Improved UX in server-rendered apps. Summary of performance and architecture. So to recap the performance and architecture improvements in React 19, 1. React Compiler. Automatic optimization, no more useMemo/uselim. 2. Concurrent rendering. Smoother, non-blocking UI updates. 3. Better context performance. Only re-renders what's necessary. 4. Suspense and error recovery. Smoother loading and faster recovery. 5. Streaming server components. Faster initial page load with progressive rendering. All of these updates together make React 19 faster, smarter, and easier to work with. In the next video, we'll dive into new hooks and APIs like useOptimistic, and the Actions API. So make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to catch that.